AITA for kicking mother-in-law out of the house for putting her career in jeopardy? My mother-in-law comes from a tiny town in the south, and she's got that classic small-town gossip vibe. It's never bothered us, me and DH, much because we live in a big city on the other side of the country. Except for the times when she dominates dinner with tales of local scandal, we don't see this side of her too often. Until today. I work as a family law attorney in a small firm specializing in divorces. I'll be honest, my daily workload keeps my drama llama well fed, but in my free time, I still enjoy scrolling through this subreddit. Divorces can be a bit of a spectacle, but the stories here could easily give Shonda Rhimes a run for her money. Mother-in-law really likes that I'm a divorce lawyer. She's always asking for juicy work stories to share with her church group. Sometimes I'll give her a little teaser like, my client has 5 kids but only wants custody of 3. I don't go into details, but it's enough to make her act shocked at the idea of a parent not loving all their kids the same way. Skipping ahead to the main event. Mother-in-law is in town for DH's birthday. We flew her over as a nice gesture, and until today, I genuinely liked her. She's staying with us, no problem there. We've got a guest room, and our place is big enough that everyone has their space. Like many mother-in-laws, she's keen on tidying up my home. She's never snooped before, so it's never bothered me much. I always remind her we have a housekeeper and to just enjoy her visit. Today, I was working from home, dealing with one of my more interesting cases. I took a break to shower and get ready to take mother-in-law out for lunch. DH was at work, so it was just us girls till he finished. I thought we'd grab some fancy salads and maybe do a bit of window shopping. What could go wrong? Well, as soon as our iced teas arrived, mother-in-law dives into questions about Mr. and Mrs. Smith's embryos and other detailed case stuff that I'd never even hint at. You guys, I nearly choked on my tea. It went everywhere. I looked like a fountain at the Bellagio. Turns out, mother-in-law had gone through my confidential case files while I was in the shower. I asked her how she knew so much about my case, and she said she was cleaning my office and I'd just left it out. No way. Law school drilled into me the importance of attorney-client privilege. Even if I had left something out, which I absolutely didn't, she would have had to read through several pages to know that much. It's not like all the details would fit on one sheet sitting on my desk. She claimed my office was a mess and needed cleaning. Sure, it might be a bit dusty with some coffee mugs around, but it's far from filthy. And the reason it's a bit messy, I don't let the housekeeper in there for exactly this reason. I grabbed my wallet, slapped some cash on the table for our food, and told her to get in the car. The drive home was a blur of me yelling and giving her a piece of my mind. What she did was just plain awful. My reputation at my boutique law firm is crucial. I can't have people thinking I blab about client stuff at the local hangout. She could seriously mess up my career with this. I might have threatened to sue her or spill the beans to her son about how clueless she was. I even said she'd never set foot in our home again. Once we got home, I told her to pack up or I'd have her kicked out, and then called her an Uber to the airport without even paying for her ticket. She's probably at the airport now, thanks to the app. My husband won't find out until after 5 p.m. because of his no-phone job. I'm fuming. Part of me feels bad she might be stuck at the airport, but she crossed a line. I need some time before I even think about calling the airline for a ticket back to Gossipville, USA. I love a bit of drama, but not when it puts someone's job at risk. I'm speechless at how intrusive this was. Am I mad for myself or for my client? This is the first time she's pulled something like this, and I'm glad I made it clear this won't fly. But part of me wonders if she's just too clueless to get how wrong she was. I'll wait for DH to get home before I talk to her. Right now, I'm still in a what the heck mood to deal with her. Update 1. If your eyeballs are itching for an update, then you better sit down, it's a long one. I want to thank everyone for their support. I had my doubts about being so harsh, but I don't regret it. I felt a bit guilty after she left, but you guys made me see that everyone should know what attorney-client privilege means. I get it might seem extreme if you're not in law, but this is my job, my life, and a breach like this could cost me my license. To address the top questions from my original post, while I was laying into her, she downplayed it, saying stuff like, "It's not a big deal, I don't even know them," or "You can trust me, we're family." Her not grasping the seriousness just blew my mind. It left me speechless and feeling like I was the one overreacting. If you snoop, fine. But don't make me feel like the bad guy when you're caught. She acted like I was having a tantrum sheet humor until I calmed down. I'm not a kid, mother-in-law. Maybe that's why she got into that Uber so easily, thinking she'd be back soon after. My home office has a 6-digit lock. We got it mainly because DH has firearms. How'd she get the code? You won't believe it. She needed DH's birth certificate. Why, we're adults. And DH, clueless about security, was playing video games and just gave her the code and where to find it. Unbelievable. He gets it now. Trust her with guns, not with anything else. Thanks for worrying about my job. It means a lot, even if I'm just a screen name to you. But please, no need for career advice, I've got that covered. I just needed help figuring out how to deal with this personally. Alright, here's what went down. I skipped sending DH a heads-up text like some of you suggested. Instead, I wanted her to dig her own hole. I hoped she'd spin such a detailed, made-up story that she'd be stuck when I called her out. I even came up with a bunch of questions for DH to ask her, like in a legal deposition. Looking back, maybe I went a bit overboard. I guess my emotional blow-up earlier made me swing too far the other way, trying to be super logical. This was the first time mother-in-law and I clashed so much that DH had to take sides. I trust him, but since we'd never been here before, I was a bit nervous. You guys with your stories about mama's boys had me worried. Turns out I was right about him. Around 6, DH comes in and asks, "Why are the cops going to sue my mom?" It was so off base, I burst out laughing. "That's not it, babe. I told your mom I'd call the cops if she didn't leave, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say I did threaten to sue her when I was yelling, even though I don't really have a case." I filled DH in on everything, and he was puzzled. He'd already spoken to mother-in-law and knew she was at the airport. Luckily, she hadn't come up with some big lies. She gave him her version, trying to make it seem like I overreacted. I kind of saw that coming. If she'd known she did something really wrong, she wouldn't have brought it up so casually at lunch. I told DH we needed to get her a plane ticket because she wasn't welcome back. He agreed and didn't try to defend her. He totally got how bad this could have been for both of us, especially since we just bought our home 2 months ago and going down to one income would have been a mess. We're both bummed the trip ended this way, but I'm not ready for a heart-to-heart with mother-in-law just yet. I need some time, some space, and definitely some wine. Bonus, she had a whole drama at the airport because she forgot her wallet at our place. She wanted DH to bring it to her, saying she couldn't fly without ID, and she couldn't call me because I'm scary when I'm mad. So DH had to find her wallet. Guess where it was? On the neatly made bed. Seriously. Couldn't she hide it somewhere to make her story more believable? She probably just wanted some time with DH without me around, thinking I'd look bad for being upset. Joke's on her, I had DH buy a non-refundable ticket online before he left. See ya. Update 2. This will be my final update, and I might delete my earlier posts soon. I took a personal day today to handle the fallout from mother-in-law's mess, and I've got a quick break to fill you in. Guess what? We kinda won. All of us here on Just a Mother-in-Law are part of this victory. Got a big apology-filled talk from mother-in-law this morning. I really listened, but honestly, her apology was weird. I gave some neutral responses, but I'm not ready to accept it. Saying sorry doesn't mean you get a free pass to act badly, right? I need more time to forgive, and DH knows I don't rush into it. Now on to DH's airport adventure with her forgotten wallet. Quick background. My husband is super chill like a monk. I'm the fiery one, can you tell? Opposites attract, right? It takes a lot to get him upset, usually only if I or our dog are threatened. So he's at the airport for hours. I figured this would happen since her flight wasn't until early the next morning. She probably wanted more time with DH or to spin more tales or whatever. But when DH got home, I knew something big had happened. He stormed in like a whirlwind. Doors slammed, keys tossed, and he even kicked a dog toy, which just got the dog excited and diffused the tension. His talk with his mum was intense, but seemed to get through to her. Here's the rundown. First, mother-in-law tried to downplay it, saying it wasn't a big deal because of family loyalty or something. She promised she'd never spill about the case because we're family. That's when DH stood firm. He told her that if family was so important, she wouldn't have hurt me because I'm his family now. Swoon-worthy moment right there. She finally started to get it, especially when she saw he was upset. Next, he laid out how her actions could have hurt him too. Quick backstory. DH funded my law school. Not that he was right there in class with me, but he paid my tuition and supported me all the way. He talked about our investment in my career, how we could have lost our home because of her, and how this could have ruined his plans to go back to grad school. That's when she broke down, full-on ugly crying with snot and tears. She didn't mean to hurt him. She's so sorry, and she promised she won't jeopardize his career. Seriously, That's my job title. I'm still trying to catch my breath just thinking about it. So she finally gets how serious this is. DH told her what she did was a deal breaker, and he wouldn't blame me if I never let her back in our home. She tried the big puppy eyes, saying, "But I'm your mother. Can't you tell her to let me back in?" Nice try, mother-in-law. Last time someone tried telling me what to do, they got an Uber to the airport. Let's see how well that works with your son. DH was getting frustrated because she wasn't getting it. He told her it's between me and her. I'm the one she broke trust with, and I decide the consequences. We're equals. He's not my boss. She can't. I want to speak to the manager, her way out of this. She still didn't get it before her flight, so DH came home feeling torn between us. He said it felt like she was pretending not to understand. No kidding. So this morning she called to apologize, but mostly talked about not wanting to hurt her baby, meaning DH. Hello? What about me? It seemed like she only cared when DH explained how it could have hurt him. The end. Oh wait, the worst part? Remember her forgotten wallet? She left it on purpose after our unfinished lunch. And guess what? She used Apple Pay at the airport, linked to an account we pay for. DH had to tell her if I lose my job, we'll have to cut back. So bye-bye shopping and random church sales. We would have cut her allowance. That got her attention, and I think that's what pushed her to even try apologizing to me, even if it wasn't sincere.